Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to 5 Minutes of Torah with the BI Rabbi. It has been a challenging few months. Challenging here in Vancouver, in British Columbia, Canada, and quite frankly across the world. But I have been impressed. I have been impressed with the way the citizens of Canada, the residents of British Columbia and Vancouver have come together to help one another, to be there for each other, to help us make it through this difficult time. And I have to admit, I've also been impressed with the way the politicians of our country and of our province have worked together in order to be able to support us as a nation, to support us as Canadians, to ensure our physical health and safety, as well as our mental health and, quite frankly, every other level and need that we've had as a people and as a country and as citizens of British Columbia. It's been impressive. But unfortunately, that isn't the case around the world. And it isn't even the case historically. And in fact, in this week's Torah portion, we find an example of politicians, of leaders, who engage in a battle, not for the sake of the people, but for their own sake. Korach and his followers. This week we read Parashat Korach. And Korach and his followers challenge Moses and Aaron for the leadership of the people of Israel. And the Torah and the rabbis understand that their challenge is illegitimate, that they are attempting to usurp power, not for the sake of helping the people, but rather for their own sake. And the text tells us in this week's Parsha that upon hearing the news of Korach and his followers' challenge, Vayipol al panav Moshe, that Moses fell on his face. That is at least the common translation of Vayipol al panav, that Moses fell on his face. But Jacob Milgram, commentator on this week's Parsha for the Jewish Publication Society, says it maybe actually should be understood as Moses' face fell. That is, that Moses felt terrible about what was taking place, and so his facial expression displayed that very fact. The Ramban, medieval rabbi and commentator, notices that it says that Moses fell on his face, or Moses' face fell, but the text doesn't say that Aaron's face fell, or that Aaron fell on his face. And what Ramban explains is that while Moses expressed his upset, Aaron didn't. It's almost as if to say that Aharon or Aaron was able to rise above the political fray, to not get involved in this terrible situation, to continue to act as the religious leader of the Jewish people, to continue to do his job, connecting the people to God, and not get involved in this challenge to his authority or to his leadership. This is very important because it is a reminder of the fact that we need political leaders who stick to their mandate, who are able to achieve their goals. Of course, this is not only today, but in all times, especially in times of trouble. And I pray that all of the leaders of the world are able to follow Aaron's example. Yeah, Moses was right to show and to express his upset. Of course, leaders as human beings are expected to show their upset when terrible things happen. But they also need to remember to remain on point of helping the people and not themselves. And so I pray that indeed the leaders of the world are able to follow Aaron's example, rise above the political fray, and be there for the people in challenging times. Shabbat Shalom.